Once again, it's still the conversation, and on the segment, you know how we do it. We talk about anything, especially on Fridays. Today, we're talking about JAPA syndrome and the young Lagosians. And joining us to have this conversation this morning is Olusegun Odufuwa, Dr. Sleeks. Okay, we're going to talk about all of that. He's a psychologist and is a performance coach across homes, offices, and social spaces. One question keeps coming up. Should I stay or should I leave? Not for people like Misha. For many young people, I will say, JAPA is no longer just a slang. It's a plan, it's a goal, it's an achievement, and of course for some of them it is a necessity. So, Olusegun,
Good morning.
good morning. I'm going to start from there. What do you think is JAPA syndrome to the young people?
JAPA syndrome to young people is like a silent protest.
It's like a silent protest
Yes.
against
Financial uncertainty, unstable economy, insecurity, and having a bleak future. So a lot of them have that assumption and feel that, okay, they've done a lot. To, at least according to them, they've done a lot. They've tried different things and things are not working as they would want it to work, and suddenly they feel that the only option for them is just to leave the country because they want the comparison is that, okay, why you're staying in this country, things are not predictable, and you want to move to a country that is more or less predictable, that is there's structure, there's process, and the belief is that by the time there's stability one way or the other, because you can stay abroad. If you work for 1 hour, you know your pay. If you work for 4 hours, you know your pay. You can do 3 jobs, you know your pay.
even if you don't like what you're doing.
Exactly. And you can do your calculations and say, okay, in the next 3 years, I can achieve X, Y, Z. And I can decide to build a mansion. I can decide to start a company, anything for yourself, and, take care of the family and the likes. And, when they look at others who have tried it, in terms of the numbers, you realize that, okay, they feel that, okay, I think relocation is good. And a lot of them have that perceived feeling that they equate relocation to elevation. So it's more or less like, I relocate, I get elevated.
So upgraded. Okay, well, we were talking something like this, that stability in
Yes.
code. Why do you think these factors are not the reality they think they are getting?
Generally, even when you travel abroad, yes, it looks stable, but there's also some bit of instability. There's some gray areas also in European countries, other parts of the world. So it's not just peculiar to Nigeria. We understand that our own situation is a bit different, but however, we still have a lot of people in this country that are doing so well. So the question I always ask is, if you're not able to discover yourself here in Nigeria, how would you be able to discover yourself out there? If you're lazy here in Nigeria, do you think when you relocate, you just have that discipline immediately? You're not able to.
But for some, the environment shapes them.
I agree, and it's a mindset thing.
Okay.
Because the same way you see somebody who does not obey traffic in Nigeria gets abroad and he obeys traffic, and you're wondering what changed. So it's a thing of the mindset. It's a thing of the mindset, and that's why I say it's an assumption, because they've tried. Yes, I know a lot of few people have tried, but however, did you try enough? Because I always say this: some people look, some people see. You look around, but you don't see opportunities. But some people see opportunities in the same space you are. So a lot of them are looking in the wrong direction. And that's why they're not able to see the real opportunities. Because this same country, we have a lot of billionaires, we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are doing so well. How do they do it? It's the same environment, the same insecurity we're all shouting about, the same instability, and they're still doing well. Because in this midst of chaos, there's money.
Okay, you've talked about some reasons why
Yeah.
these young people look forward to JAPA. Why they JAPA. Do you think social media is also a factor that makes them believe that it's all rosy out there?
Yes, it's a very big factor because when it comes to social media, I always say one thing very clearly. A lot of people have what is called fear of missing out. So it's more or less like you look at people, you go on social media and you see a lot of, the highlights of people's lives, and forgetting that highlight is doctored.
It's what they want you to see.
Exactly. So it's more or less like you now begin to compare your own life, your journey, and begin to look at somebody's 1 minute reel and begin to assume that, oh, this person is doing so well. And the case is not really always like that, because social media is just people going there for fun, just trying to put something out there just to make themselves happy. And if you now begin to base your own entire life on that, then it becomes a problem. And that's why a lot of people have that perceived feeling that they fear missing out, and they don't want to be missing an action. They also want to pop the champagne. They also want to go to the big clubs. They want to have that social capital. They want to have that name out there. So the eagerness is there. It's like, oh, something is missing in their life, and they want to just take every action to also level up.
Okay, but beyond the popping of champagne, beyond the prosperity, beyond the luxurious life, they look forward to. There are some young Nigerians whose JAPA, is based on valuable points such as insecurity, police harassment,
education,
and education.
Yes.
So, what's your take for those ones?
Yes. So when it comes to JAPA, it's more or less like it depends on the individual. How, what is your target? If your target is more or less like, okay, you want to study, you want to do research, you want to do something for yourself, you want to make a name for yourself, you want to build a legacy, and you feel that, okay, this country is not giving you that platform, yes, you can also, aspire to lift the country, because you want to go to a system that's going to give you that enabling environment, which is absolutely good, which is good. And but a lot of people just miss, because they don't have a proper direction, they don't have a strategic plan. And that's why you see somebody just who is doing well here and just feels that, okay, the only way forward is to just take the entire family, resign from your job, and just relocate. And you get there, suddenly you didn't prepare for what is about to come, the cultural shock, the change of environment, the psychological cost of changing an environment, and all of those things. You didn't prepare for all of those things, and suddenly you get there, you become lonely, you become, things begin to change. It doesn't look like what you already prepared your mind for, and it becomes like you are regretting your action. So for people who are prepared, who exactly know what they want to do, it's fine. I always tell you, if you prepare yourself, you plan yourself properly, you do your research even over there, and make sure that, okay, once you're living here, maybe there's a job waiting for you, or you have a school you want to go to, you have a plan. Yeah, you can do that. And once you get to by the time you get your desire, nothing stops you from even coming back home and also trying to change, what you can change as much as you can.
How would you describe the JAPA syndrome? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's neither here nor there. Because, like I said, it's just based on the individual. It depends on your goal. It depends on your desire. For those who desire just to say, okay, once I just get there, my life will change. It's a different ballgame for those who want to study, who wants to, for a medical doctor, from professionals who just want to, upgrade themselves and be better and become, at the end of the day, they want to make a name for themselves, so that because better facilities, better working environment, we have people like that. We have people who are of Nigerian descent that are doing so well abroad, and they are making a name for themselves. For that, it's a good thing. It's not a really bad thing, because but I only say that, once you are able to achieve whatever you want to achieve over there, you should be able to give back to your environment as well.
Anyway, let's look at the poll factors, what makes countries like, because we have these countries that really that is more attractive than others, that our young Nigerians want
Yes.
to live to, countries like the UK, countries like Canada and America. What exactly are these things that make those countries look more attractive for the young people?
Yes, is one thing is very key here: financial stability. There's no form of uncertainty. You have a process to everything.
A process that works.
That works.
Okay.
That works. So back here is more or less like, okay, there's a policy today, something happens next tomorrow, policy somersault, different issues, a government comes today, changes everything. So there's no stability. There's no stability. And that is one of the things, you don't want to work in an environment that is not predictable. You should be able to predict your future as an individual, to say that, okay, I want to work for 30 years, I want to work for 25 years, and I should be able to achieve this.
True.
Everybody wants that kind of life.
Yeah.
Yes, because you want to plan. But here, back in the country, it's difficult to plan, XYZ, in terms of ROI. But that's why you see that for other countries, one of the key things they want to work on is they want a stable economy, so that it can attract entrepreneurs, it can attract investors, it can attract people.
Okay.
And why would you want to go there? Because you feel that if I get to this place, I'm able to, I don't say anybody without potentials. Almost everybody has a potential. No matter who you are, where you're coming from, no matter your background, you have your own potential. And everybody wants to express it. You want to express it, and the more you find a place that is comfortable and conducive for you, the better you are able to express yourself more.
So for those who JAPA, do they really understand, or do they really see, the realities of what they are going into? And I'd like to talk about the misconceptions of people who travel, who have that JAPA thing in their head.
Yes. I said it earlier that, a lot of people equate education with elevation. So it's more or less like a perception that, okay, you've seen your friend travel, you've heard your neighbor travel, you've heard a family friend travel, and they give you a call and you see, looking so fresh, looking so cool, and you feel that, oh, this person just went 2 months ago, and look at how this person is looking.
You know how that place looks in pictures, even if you're not.
Exactly. So, exactly. So, for a lot of them, they don't know, and that's why I said it's very important that even if you want to, you must ask yourself the first question: that why do I want to go? Why am I going? You can't tell someone like me to decide that I want to travel, I want to relocate.
Why can't you?
Because I have a lot of things I'm doing here.
Okay. And you feel it will work for you when you travel?
No, for me here, because it's a game of numbers. Nigeria has the numbers. And that's why you see a lot of people from other countries coming back to this country, because we have the numbers. And if you cannot count, you cannot be rich. So it's a matter of numbers. The numbers are here. So why would I want to live where the numbers are, where I know that I can do a lot of things and I can be able to, I can make impact and just travel over there and start from, the scratch, like start from, begin all over. It doesn't work for me that way. I've put in a lot of sacrifice here in this country. I must reap from this
where
country.
You have sown.
Exactly. So for a lot of young people, I think the problem is that they don't do their research so well. A lot of them are just sometimes a bit of peer pressure, and in fact, I've seen a lot of people that they're not really doing badly, but they're just beclouded with that notion that until they travel.
Okay, for those kind of people, because you gave an example earlier of someone who has a very good job,
yes,
has a young family, has a house, and just one day pack everything and go and even sell.
Yes.
What would you say?
Yes, a lot of people, what I've asked few people, and they tell you, oh, we are doing it for our children. We are doing it for our children. Oh, we're trying to secure the future of our children. And I'm like, okay, you want to secure the future of your children?
What about you yourself?
Yeah, exactly. So it is not just about securing the future of your children, because yes, your children are still young. Yeah, you want a good future for them. But if you work hard here, you can also secure the future of your children. It doesn't really mean that you leave everything and just throw it in the wind and just decide to relocate over there. Yeah, well,
It's easy to just
exactly.
put it on the children.
Yes, yes,
Don't even know where they're going.
exactly. And you find out that they get over there and suddenly they are lonely. They're not used to that kind of life. It's more or less like boring for them, and they're like, oh, they regret, ever going there. Because in everything you want to do in life, you must first evaluate yourself. Do you really know who you are? There's some people that they do a 9 to 5, but they really tell you that they don't like a 9 to 5. But trust me, take them from that 9 to 5, they will miss it a lot because they like the hustles and bustles of everyday life. But because they've not been able to really discover who they are,
Okay.
they really don't. They feel that they are not made for that kind of role. But in reality, they are made for that role. So sometimes you need to really sit down and do a proper introspection and decide to say, okay, you want to look inward, learn and evaluate yourself so that you are able to decide for yourself.
We have to go on a quick break right now. We'll be right back.